this is an iHeart podcast. Guaranteed human.
Amazon Health AI presents Painful Thoughts.
I can't stop scratching my downtown. Yeah, but I'm not itching to go downtown and tell a receptionist I'm here to talk about my downtown. Some things you'd rather type than say out loud.
There's no question too embarrassing for Amazon Health AI. Chat your symptoms and get virtual care 24/7. Healthcare just got less painful.
When I was diagnosed, all I wanted to do was get back to work. I wanted to get back to that trajectory that I was on prior to the cancer. I always felt like I had value, I had a place on the team to just be treated with dignity. It means everything.
Research shows there is a significant connection between the ability to continue to work and cancer recovery. We can make work a better place for healing.
Learn more and sign the pledge at workingwithcancerpledge.com.
This is Red Pilled America.
It's time to tell our side of the story, but we need your help. Please share, like, and subscribe to this podcast wherever you're listening to it. And please, don't forget to give us a 5-star rating. It helps us beat the big tech algorithm. Also, if you love Red Pilled America, please consider becoming a Backstage subscriber.
You'll get ad-free access to our entire back catalog of episodes, over 230 stories. Just visit redpilledamerica.com and click Join in the top of the menu.
Support what you love, or it goes away.
This series was originally broadcast on August 8th, 2020. The laws of attraction seem to be changing. If you turn on a TV show or watch a commercial, the image of what attracts a woman to a man appears to have drastically altered.
I can't believe I'm Frenching in the closet. I feel like a teenager.
You are extremely handsome. I never noticed before.
It is exhausting trying to be man enough for everyone all the time.
It's an ad from Gillette, just out, not selling razors, but talking about what is now called toxic masculinity.
Hollywood and the advertising industry want us to believe that women like girly men. Is that true? And if not, what kind of men do women want? I'm Patrick Corelchi.
And I'm Adriana Cortez.
And this is Red Pilled America, a storytelling show.
This is not another talk show covering the day's news. We're all about telling stories.
Stories Hollywood doesn't want you to hear.
Stories the media mocks. Stories about everyday Americans that the globalists ignore.
You can think of Red Pilled America as audio documentaries, and we promise only one thing. The truth. Welcome to Red Pilled America. You don't have to be very old to recognize that Hollywood's image of the ideal man has drastically changed over the years. Men were once portrayed as, well, men, doing manly things, and women loved them for it.
Go ahead. Make my day.
But today, Hollywood and the advertising industry's portrayal of the ideal man seem almost unrecognizable.
For me and for many American men, makeup is kind of uncharted territory, but that may be changing.
If we're to believe our TV screens, male feminists are the new heartthrobs. Is that true? And if not, what kind of men do women want? To find the answer, we're going to tell the story of how a young man was faced with the very real possibility of losing his new girlfriend to an international ladies' man, and what he did to win her over. Thinking about it now, it's all a bit of a blur. Something was triggered in me that never happened before that moment and hasn't happened since. And if I had to describe it today, there really is no other way to put it. I snapped.
I've known you forever, and I was so scared. I was in the shock of my life. Like, I'd never seen that side of you. And you were so mad.
What I did surprised even my oldest friends, but they really shouldn't have been shocked. I've been displaying a series of unprecedented behavior the moment a very unique lady walked into my life. It all started for me on Halloween 1991. I just entered my 4th year at Cal State University Long Beach with a pretty intense major, mechanical engineering. so my heavy course load typically kept me away from my close childhood friends during the school year. But on this night in particular, I was making an exception because we were all going out to Los Angeles for a Halloween party at our friend Dina's house. Dina was a talented singer and dancer originally from West Covina, California, a suburb about 20 miles east of downtown Los Angeles. But by 1991, she'd moved to the heart of La La Land to pursue a career in acting. Dina already had tons of success in the business and was well connected in the scene there. Our crew of friends had known her since high school. We were a group of style-obsessed dancers, and we'd met Dina at a place called Studio K, a popular dance club at the Knott's Berry Farm theme park. Dina had become kind of an honorary girl member of our crew, and I'd become friends with her because she was on again and off again dating my best friend Mark. Since at least 1987, we'd been traveling out to her hometown of West Covina to hang with her and her crew of girlfriends. I became buddies with several of them, including one of Dina's longtime friends, Lisa, someone I'm close friends with to this day. Lisa was and is the funniest woman I've ever met. To us, West Covina was considered the mecca of hot girls. For some reason, they just made them a cut above in Westco. We recognized them as the 818-919 ladies because most of their phone numbers started with that 6-number combination. Even though their hood was a bit of a trek, a good 40-minute drive from us, when the opportunity came to hang out in the Dub C, as locals affectionately called it, we didn't hesitate. So when Dina told us she was having a Halloween party, it wasn't even a question. We were going. At the time in 1991, I literally had 3 jobs while taking a full load in college. I worked as a liquor store clerk, I was a college physics teacher's aide grading homework and exams, and of all places, I worked at a prison clothes distribution center. The job was just as it sounded. We distributed prison clothes to various incarceration facilities. So when Dina's Halloween party came along, my 3rd job was a perfect fit for the times. My friends and I were still obsessed with style and looking cool, and Halloween was one of those holidays that cramped up our style with the requirement of dressing up goofily. But as luck would have it, gangster rap was still a big thing on the West Coast. So I decided to wear some of the prison clothes from my job to both comply with the spirit of the event while retaining my cool factor. We arrived at the Halloween party with the appropriate amount of tardiness, and like all of Dina's shindigs, it was off the chains, with a mixture of actor up-and-comers, artists, hipsters, and the general beautiful people of Hollywood. But little did I know that the most stunning of God's specimens still hadn't arrived. As I stood outside of Dina's house with a few friends, a young lady walked up with my old West Covina friend Lisa, and this unnamed young lady was dressed as a genie. Now we've all heard the cliche phrase, it was love at first sight, but in my case, cliche was reality. I'd never felt the way I felt when I placed my eyes on this gorgeous creature. She immediately had me, and it was at that moment of first sight that I did something that I'd never done before nor since. I gave her a cat call. I'm still convinced that one of the filmmakers involved in the movie Friday must have been within an earshot of me, because the words that came out of my mouth as she passed were later uttered by Chris Tucker's character Smokey.
Damn! He said, damn! And I liked it.
That's of course Adriana, the recipient of my cat call.
Well, Dina was one of my best friends. I grew up with Dina. Dina was a very successful child actress. She was an incredible singer. She is an incredible singer. And so she was regularly going into LA proper. And so she actually knew all of these people that lived in LA and that were basically in the scene in LA. And that's how she actually met Patrick's group of friends.
Licorice, licorice, where art thou, licorice? If you listen to Red Pilled America, you know that I love licorice, and there is no licorice in America better than the delicious gourmet licorice made by the Licorice Guy. The Licorice Guy is simply the best. What sets their licorice apart is its flavor and freshness. They have a great selection of flavors to choose from, like red, blue raspberry, black, and green apple, just to name a few. The freshness of the Licorice Guy is unlike anything you've ever tasted in licorice before. Seriously, if you haven't tried licorice from the Licorice Guy yet, then you ain't living life right. Trust me, you will not regret it. It's time to dump that store-bought licorice that's so hard it'll break your teeth and get yourself the soft, fresh stuff from the Licorice Guy. What I also love about the Licorice Guy is that it's an American family-owned business. It's made right here in the beautiful US of A. We are big proponents of buying American and supporting American workers. Right now, Red Pilled America listeners get 15% off when they enter RPA15 at checkout. Visit licoriceguy.com and enter RPA15 at checkout. That's licoriceguy.com. They ship daily. Treat yourself and those you love and taste the difference.
Amazon Health AI presents Painful Thoughts.
Why did I search the internet for answers to my cold sore problem? Now I'm stuck down a rabbit hole filled with images of alarmingly graphic sores in various stages of ooze. I can clear my search history, but I can never unsee that.
Don't go down the rabbit hole. Amazon Health AI gets you the right care fast. Healthcare just got less painful.
Anti-Semitism is continuing to rise around the world every day, and the Jewish people continue to pay the price. From growing threats against Jewish communities to acts of violence, harassment, and intimidation, many Jewish families are living with fear simply because they're Jewish. Synagogues, schools, and community centers continue strengthening security as hatred spreads far beyond the headlines. That's why the International Fellowship of Christians and Jews is working every day in Israel and around the world, providing security, emergency assistance, food, and critical care for vulnerable Jewish communities. For more than 40 years, the fellowship has stood alongside the Jewish people, delivering practical support when it is needed the most. Hatred continues to spread, but compassion and action can make a huge difference. So join me in joining the International Fellowship of Christians and Jews in praying for the safety of the Jewish people. Pray for peace in Israel and for an end to anti-Semitism. Together, we can remind God's people that they are not alone. So stand with Israel in prayer today by visiting prayifcj.org. That's pray, P-R-A-Y, ifcj.org.
Hi, Ryan Reynolds here for Mint Mobile. Are you looking for a beach read this summer? May I suggest your big wireless bill? It's got suspense, mystery, a slightly flat, emotional arc, and a shocking twist where you realize you've been overpaying the entire time. Fortunately, though, Mint's story is better. Every plan, $15 a month, even unlimited. That's it. Happy ending. Zero tears. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3 months, $90 for 6 months, or $180 for 12-month plan required. $15 per month equivalent. Taxes and fees extra. Initial plan term only. Greater than 50 gigabytes may slow when network is busy. See terms.
I need to be healthy every day to survive it and go through the next chemo round and the next chemo round. So it's important that work was part of that, to keep my mind busy for 8-9 hours. And then I had to go back and face the reality. I had a goal, and the goal is to survive.
Research shows there is a significant connection between the ability to continue to work and cancer recovery. We can make work a better place for healing.
Learn more and sign the pledge at workingwithcancerpledge.com.
Welcome back to Red Pilled America. Before I met Patrick, I actually knew of Patrick because my group of friends in West Covina, they were friends with his group of friends in Torrance. And I actually knew a bunch of his friends. I had just never met Patrick himself.
Apparently for Adriana, the electricity was mutual.
When I first laid eyes on Patrick, I thought he was a babe. So cute. He was dressed like a prisoner because it was Halloween, but he definitely didn't look hard to me. He didn't look thuggish-ruggish. He looked like a clean-cut guy that was dressed up as a jailbird for Halloween. But I think I also had a preconceived notion of him because I knew about him.
As the night progressed, I could not take my eyes off this goddess they called AJ. I'd never experienced anything like it. My MO for attracting a girl's attention was often to casually play the ignoring game, waiting for them to come to me. But I couldn't do that with this one. Everything was telling me to go for it. So when she started walking in my direction in the living room, I did the second thing that I'd never done before and haven't done since. When she passed by, I stopped her in her tracks and sat her on my lap. I wanted to make it perfectly clear that I had a thing for her, She laughed, obviously getting a kick out of it, but at night's end, I failed to ask her for her number. A full 7 months would go by before I'd see her again.
The same friend who had had the Halloween party where we initially met had a barbecue in the summer, and Patrick was there, and I knew that he was going to be there. So before we went to the party, we stopped on Melrose, which at the time was like a cool shopping area, and I bought a new pair of shoes because I wanted to look extra cute because I knew he was going to be there and I wanted him to think that I was cute. And when we got to the party, I sat down at a table and one of Patrick's friends immediately moved in on me.
It was one of my best friends, Eric, who knew I went to the party specifically to see AJ.
Eric was, chatting me up, and he was definitely flirting with me.
Eric and I had a healthy rivalry when it came to talking to girls, and in normal situations, I would have let him do his thing. But when I saw Eric sit down next to AJ, I decided I was going to take him out with a kill shot.
And then Patrick comes over and he grabs a chair and he sits in between us and he looks over at Eric and he says, "So Eric, how are the wedding plans coming?"
Eric was scheduled to be married in a few months, and he was using his waning time as a bachelor to give me a hard time.
And I said, "Oh, you're getting married? You're engaged?" And then Eric said something like, "Oh, shit." And then he left, and then Patrick swooped right in.
We could build a rocket ship and fly it to the moon.
Adriana and I talked the entire party, and this time I wasn't letting 7 months go by without seeing her, so I asked her for her number.
And I wrote it down with an orange highlighter.
I called her when I got home, and we spoke for hours. We had that kind of conversation where you felt instantly in love. At least, that's how I felt. I asked to take her out on a date. She said yes, and a few days later we went to see Sister Act, a Whoopi Goldberg comedy that had just been released. That night did it for me. I'd never felt like that before. Sure, I'd had girlfriends in the past, a few for a couple years, but this felt different. I was in love, and it became clear to me why we use the word chemistry when describing relationships, because she seemed to affect me on a chemical level.
Maybe we'll have all we'll ever need.
As the months progressed, I wanted AJ to get to know my group of friends better, and more importantly, my sister Denise, someone that I loved dearly. And as chance would have it, there was a great opportunity to get everyone together. A band was coming to perform in our little neck of the woods.
I kick a little verse, see some do hip-hop and forget where it started. The claim of the white complexion ain't the reason why their records charted, please. I mean, it's so easy to see. When a white dude raps, the public sees it as a novelty.
The hip-hop group called Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch had just blown up, and their frontman, Mark Wahlberg, had become an international sensation. Wahlberg was originally in his brother's band, but would eventually drop out. He got into some trouble, went to jail for assault, and while he was serving his time, his brother Donnie Wahlberg's group, New Kids on the Block, went on to superstardom. His brother's success inspired him, so Mark Wahlberg decided to clean up his act.
You know, I grew up in the street, you know what I mean? I know what it's like to be in trouble.
He began lifting weights and created the stage name Marky Mark. His brother Donnie helped him produce a hip-hop album, and one of the songs, Good Vibrations, skyrocketed up the pop charts.
Blasting from the streets of Boston, Marky Mark and his Funky Bunch are hip-hop musicians with a message. It's a street sound with a message of hope.
During one of his performances of the hit song, Wahlberg did something that would change the course of his life.
The young rapper needed something to set himself apart from the crowd. How'd he do that? By dropping his drawers.
I just pulled him down and I just saw like 50 million camera flashes. I was like, damn, and everybody was cracking up. So I just started running around the stage and my brother was like on the ground laughing. And then from there, it just became a trend.
From then on, he sagged his pants well below his waistline, showing his underwear. The saggy pants look had already become popular in the urban areas as early as 1988, and underwear maker Calvin Klein had noticed the trend and was looking for an opportunity to capitalize on it. So when Marky Mark made sagging jeans his staple look, just as his song was blowing up, Calvin Klein came calling, featuring him in advertisements with international supermodel Kate Moss.
Shouts goes out to my man Calvin Klein, good looking out for the drawers. Not saying I would do another Fruit of the Loom commercial or nothing like that, because they don't make the hype shorts. These are the 90s, man. They just fit good and they hold me snug, so
Marky Mark's now signature look was quickly being compared to another global icon.
Rock has had two legendary undergarments, Madonna's bustier and the pants of the man sitting next to me, Marky Mark and his Calvin Kleins.
Already a favorite of the American ladies, Wahlberg's popularity grew with females all across the globe, and he wasn't shy about it.
But let me get back to what you was talking about, baby. See, girls use their sexuality to sell their music a lot more than that.
Not really. Well, you're doing the same thing, really, aren't you? Except girls, how many girls do you see strip off into their underwear?
Well, how many guys do you see getting a chance to have sex with a lot of women?
He was confident, even cocky, and the ladies couldn't seem to get enough of him. And with the advertisements being displayed all across the world, Marky Mark was now an international star. So when I caught word that him and his Funky Bunch were coming to a relatively small venue called The Strand in our sleepy suburban area, I was surprised. His group was a bit too mainstream for my taste. My friends and I were what you'd call obscurists, more into hip-hop groups with names like De La Soul, Brand Nubian, UMCs, and Fu-Schnickens, the kinds of artists that were big in the underground scene, but never really reached pop status. Nevertheless, I thought his band performing in our neighborhood was a good opportunity to invite AJ and my hilarious old West Covina buddy Lisa, who just so happened to be AJ's best friend, to join my sister Denise and the rest of our posse to the concert. Denise remembers the build-up to the event as well.
I just remember the one song. It's just a good vibration. Just that song. That's the only song. But he was a pretty big name for such a close venue for us. And I think that was like really, I remember us being like, what? Marky Mark is going to be at the Strand, like right here in the South Bay. So I just remember that. We were all excited about that.
Man, is AJ going to be happy, I remember thinking as I pulled the trigger on buying the tickets.
Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch were definitely not cool in the circles that we ran in. And so when Patrick said that he had tickets to Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch, I thought it was strange. And I asked Lisa if she thought I should break up with him. But, all his friends were going to go. And I think that it was going to be a fun night. And his sister was going to go. And I knew how close him and his sister were. And actually, they still are. And so I wanted to hang out with his sister so that, she would like me. I wanted her to like me.
Lisa remembers it a bit differently.
We were excited. And he was cute as hell, too.
Everyone met at my mom's house, where my sister and I lived at the time. Adriana came down with Lisa, 2 of Denise's friends came through as well, and my friends arrived posse deep.
But there was a ton of guys, but I didn't know all of them.
Who I specifically remember being there was Denise and her friends, because I wanted to impress Denise. I wanted Denise to like me. And I remember that they were very, very excited to see Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch.
AJ arrived with Lisa looking like $1 billion. I know most men think their girlfriends are hot, but Adriana was really next level. Besides having a perfect face that smiled, she was curvy before it was popular.
For the most part, I spent my life wearing clothes that hid my body because I'm built like a Kardashian hobbit. But in those days, it wasn't cool to be built like a Kardashian. And really, it's a deformity. Let's be honest. It's a bit of a deformity. And so I always wore clothes that hid my body.
On that night, however, she wanted to step it up. But at first glance, you wouldn't have noticed. AJ wore a jacket to hide what she was going to be wearing to the club. But once we got into the car, out of sight of my mother, she exposed her real uniform for the night.
We were going to a concert, so of course I wanted to look cute and I wanted to impress Patrick. I wanted him to think that I was, attractive. I think I was 20 years old at the time, and so I wore a little fitted A-line skirt that was high-waisted and short, but not super short because I was still very, very modest, and I wore a bustier, like the type that Madonna made very, very famous. And on top of it, I had a jean jacket. And so when we arrived to Patrick's house, I knew that his mom was going to be there because he lived at home at the time. And I was a good Catholic girl and I didn't want to be disrespectful. So when I walked into his house, I was still wearing my jean jacket. But when we got into the car, Patrick, Lisa, and I took off the jean jacket and Patrick looks over at me and he goes, "Oh my gosh, you're wearing a bra?" And I said, "It's not a bra, it's a bustier. What are you talking about?"
I have to say, I was surprised by the outfit, albeit pleasantly surprised. When I first met AJ at Dina's Halloween party, if I had to guess her costume, I'd say she was dressed as a Latina Dolly Parton genie. AJ was made in the mold of the famed country singer from the waist up. So from day one, I knew she was packing heat. But every time we dated, she'd been very modestly dressed, even prudish. So I just chalked up the genie outfit to her dressing for the occasion. But the bustier brought her sex appeal to the next level. She went to a 15 on a scale from 1 to 10. I was proud to have my new girlfriend on my arm as we headed to the Strand nightclub in Redondo Beach. But I had no idea how much trouble that bustier was going to be bringing to Marky Mark, the Funky Bunch, and yours truly. Every site you visit, every search you type, every public Wi-Fi network you connect to leaves a record, and that record gets collected, packaged, and sold. Surfshark deals with that. You probably know of them from the VPN, which encrypts your entire connection under a strict, independently audited no-logs policy and also lets you get around geo-restrictions while traveling or streaming. They've built a full security suite around it. The ad and tracker blocker shuts down the profiling that follows you around from site to site. And Surfshark Alert watches your email, your passwords, even your credit card turning up in a breach, and tells you the moment it happens. Secure your entire digital life with Surfshark. It's completely risk-free with a 30-day money-back guarantee. Go to surfshark.com/RPA or use code RPA at checkout for 4 extra months of Surfshark. Again, that's surfshark.com/RPA, code RPA.
Amazon Health AI presents Painful Thoughts.
Why did I search the internet for answers to my cold sore problem? Now I'm stuck down a rabbit hole filled with images of alarmingly graphic sores in various stages of ooze. I can clear my search history, but I can never unsee that.
Don't go down the rabbit hole. Amazon Health AI gets you the right care, fast. Healthcare just got less painful.
Anti-Semitism is continuing to rise around the world every day, and the Jewish people continue to pay the price. From growing threats against Jewish communities to acts of violence, harassment, and intimidation, many Jewish families are living with fear simply because they're Jewish. Synagogues, schools, and community centers continue strengthening security as hatred spreads far beyond the headlines. That's why the International Fellowship of Christians and Jews is working every day in Israel and around the world, providing security, emergency assistance, food, and critical care for vulnerable Jewish communities. For more than 40 years, the fellowship has stood alongside the Jewish people, delivering practical support when it is needed the most. Hatred continues to spread, but compassion and action can make a huge difference. So join me in joining the International Fellowship of Christians and Jews in praying for the safety of the Jewish people. Pray for peace in Israel and for an end to anti-Semitism. Together, we can remind God's people that they are not alone. So stand with Israel in prayer today by visiting prayifcj.org. That's pray, P-R-A-Y, ifcj.org.
I need to be healthy every day to survive it and go through the next chemo round and the next chemo round. So it's important that work was part of that, to keep my mind busy for 8-9 hours. And then I had to go back and face the reality. I had a goal, and the goal is to survive.
Research shows there is a significant connection between the ability to continue to work and cancer recovery. We can make work a better place for healing.
Learn more and sign the pledge at workingwithcancerpledge.com.
Do you want to hear Red Pilled America stories ad-free? Then become a Backstage subscriber. Just log on to redpilledamerica.com and click Join in the top menu. Join today and help us save America one story at a time.
Welcome back. So a big posse of us were headed to see Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch perform at the Strand in Redondo Beach. En route to the concert, my new girlfriend AJ revealed her real nighttime attire when she took off her jean jacket, showing that she was wearing a bustier, a bra-like top popularized by Madonna. The look worked for her, but I had no idea how much trouble her outfit was about to bring to Marky Mark, the Funky Bunch, and yours truly. The Strand nightclub was located at the intersection of Redondo Beach, Torrance, and the foothills of Palos Verdes. The nightclub got its name from being a few blocks from the beach, in an area that was known to be pretty safe at the time. So Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch likely had no concern that the venue audience could get out of hand. We'd been going to the Strand for years. It was a 21 and over club, which meant my sister, her friends, AJ and Lisa, basically all the ladies, would have to use fake IDs to get in, which always meant the walk up to the club would be a bit nerve-wracking. Luckily for everyone, their IDs looked enough like them, and let's face it, all of them being gorgeous females didn't hurt. Everyone got in without a hitch. As we walked into the venue, the layout was a bit different than I'd ever seen. Again, Lisa.
I remember I was kind of tripped out on the setup of the concert, or how it was, because it's not a huge venue, but there was tables that went all the way from the stage to the back of the room.
They were sort of like long picnic tables.
They were set up in such a way that if you got on top of the tables in the back of the venue, you could walk all the way to the stage almost like it was one long runway. Again, my sister Denise.
I think there might have been a dinner or something. Maybe you could have a dinner beforehand.
I can remember the moment we all got in. I was there with all my best friends. My sister and her buddies were with us, and I had my new girlfriend on my side. We were an attractive crew, and AJ looked like a voluptuous 5'2" supermodel. I couldn't have been happier seeing her hanging out with my sister and her friends. Eventually, the stage lights went on, and the Funky Bunch were the first to come out. After a few dance moves and chants to the crowd, Marky Mark made his big entrance. And it felt like every girl in the venue made their way closer to the front. The group didn't have many songs in their library, so it wasn't long before you heard the first beats of their famed song, Good Vibrations, hitting the speakers. That's when our entire crew of girls made a beeline for the stage. Again, my sister Denise.
Somehow, we got separated from you guys, because I just don't remember you being around. When that song came on, everybody just started rushing the stage and pushing forward, and I'm like, we were all like, hey, we want to see him too. And of course, that's the greatest song. We're all waiting for that song because I think he was probably playing stuff that maybe we weren't familiar with. But that song came on and we're like, one of them, of course not me, one of my friends, somebody said, let's get on these tables, let's stand on the tables and get all the way up to the stage. So we did. We got up on the tables and we all pushed forward to the stage.
The ladies that made the move to stand on the tables were largely all near the stage.
Denise and her friends got on the table to dance. In fact, a lot of the girls in the venue were actually on the tables and they were dancing. And I'd never been to this venue and I thought, okay, well, maybe that's what people do. But it really was not something that I did. Wasn't the type of girl that would get on tables and dance, and neither was Lisa.
I didn't go with AJ. I'm like the one that watches everything. I pay attention. I'm the sober one always.
So Lisa was perched up on the side watching everything go down.
So AJ went up, and that's why I remember the table so well, because she basically walked up the tables kind of to get to the front. And it's weird to me because I'm like, why did she go on the tables? But she did.
Your sister convinced me to get up on the table, and I did because I wanted her to like me. And so we were up on the tables, and we were dancing, and we were feeling the vibrations, and, it was good. It was fun.
And when he was singing, he was, pointing at us, and we were like, ah! So excited.
And then Marky Mark saw Adriana, and it was over. He wanted her up on that stage.
I caught Marky Mark's eye, and it was love at first sight for him. He had to come near me.
I remember Adriana getting pulled up to the stage.
I remember Marky Mark came down on the table, and he took my hand, and he led me onto the stage so I could, dance on stage with him, I guess.
And then that's when it went bad. It went real bad real quick.
I want to pause here for a minute and give a disclaimer. I'm not the man I used to be. In high school, I was a typical boy without a father present. I got into some trouble. I was never arrested or anything like that, but I didn't shy away from throwing punches when provoked, and maybe a few times when I wasn't. But my saving grace was that I got good grades. My mom always made me finish my homework first before I went dancing or hanging out with my crew. By the time I got to college, most of that aggressive side of me was in the rearview mirror. I also had a few girlfriends over that time, but none of them were the one. So if they did something that rubbed me the wrong way, I'd quickly dump them and move on. Frankly, I thought my shit didn't stink. I was young, strong, didn't have much of a hard time with girls, and I knew I was going places. And foremost, I was not a jealous guy. In fact, I was the exact opposite. I largely projected the air of indifference. I gave my girlfriends enough rope to hang themselves with. If they did something that rubbed me the wrong way or felt disrespectful, it was over. So by 1992, high school tough guy Patrick was replaced by going places engineering Patrick, without a jealous bone in his body. That is, apparently, until AJ entered my life. When I saw that one-hit wonder grab my girl's hand and bring her up onto stage, something inside me snapped, and I again did something that I'd never done before or since. I became a beer bottle-flinging madman. As I mentioned, they set up the tables in a way that was almost like a runway from the back of the room to the stage. So if you were daring enough, or stupid enough, you could get to the Funky Bunch very quickly by hopping on the tables and bypassing the crowded venue floor. The tables also had an added convenience of being littered with free ammo in the form of beer bottles. What happened next is kinda hazy, but I remember AJ on stage dancing next to the shirtless, six-packed, abbed Marky Mark. I remember thinking there's no way this one-hit wonder is gonna make a play for my girl. So from the back of the venue, I jumped on the tables and began running towards the stage, grabbing beer bottles all along the way and hurling them at Marky Mark and the Funky Bunchers.
And I'm up there just for a couple of seconds when all of a sudden, I wasn't quite sure what was happening, but all hell broke loose.
And then everybody started pushing up behind us.
I asked Lisa what she remembers seeing from her vantage point.
You were like rapid firing. I think it was like equivalent to an AK-47 of beer bottles. Like, whoop, 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 whoop. There was an endless amount of beer bottles, it felt like. I was like, what is going on? And people were running. It's like what you see in the movie. That's what it looked like. People scrambling and running and ducking. And I was like, oh my God. And then all of a sudden, all the lights went out and the bodyguards cleared off the whole stage.
And so they turned off the lights, and then security that was on stage made sort of like a human chain, and they ushered us all off of the stage, like rushed us off the stage. And so I ended up backstage.
She went back with Marky. She was part of the Funky Bunch at that point.
And then it just got crazy. They shut it down and they started pushing us all out. They were like, get off, get down, get off the table, get out of here. It's over. And it was just craziness.
They made everybody leave. So the concert was over at that point. There was no more feeling vibrations at all.
Luckily, I had bad aim. No one was hurt. And let me publicly say now that I asked God, the concertgoers, and Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch for forgiveness. That side of me died that night at the Strand. But the fact was that I single-handedly shut down the concert. It was a dumb move, though, for more than the obvious reasons, because my actions led to AJ being herded not off stage into my arms, but instead to the backstage area with the shirtless, saggy-panted international sex symbol, Marky Mark. Brilliant, Patrick. Everyone slowly began to gather in the parking lot, exchanging stories on what had just happened. But all I could do was scan the crowd looking for AJ. As 1 minute turned to 5 minutes, turned to 20 minutes, my anger began to slowly turn to fear. Where was my girlfriend? And I wasn't the only one. Lisa began to worry as well.
And I was like, oh my God. Like, I was a nervous wreck because I'm like, where's my best friend?
We'd eventually find out. Next time on Red Pilled America.
And when I first got backstage, I was completely disoriented. I didn't know what was going on. And I was nervous because here I am backstage with all of these strange men. But when I was back there, Marky Mark somehow came back and he found me. Red Pilled America is an iHeartRadio original podcast. It's owned and produced by Patrick Horelchi and me, Adriana Cortez of Informed Ventures. Now you can get ad-free access to our entire archive of episodes by becoming a Backstage subscriber. To subscribe, visit redpilledamerica.com and click Join in the top menu. Thanks for listening.
People at work supported me while I was going through treatment by not treating me like somebody who was going through treatment. Treatment sucks. Cancer sucks. Being engaged with work really helped to, I just knew I was going to beat this thing.
Research shows there is a significant connection between the ability to continue to work and cancer recovery. We can make work a better place for healing.
Learn more and sign the pledge at workingwithcancerpledge.com.